Yes. Let's do here.
Okay.
Because I'm going to open it up and then they can each do the same. Good evening, everyone. Hey. I am not going to be long up here. I just wanted to start the meeting, or start the press conference, really. We are here to hear from two incredibly strong public servants who have given of themselves to lead the transition for our city. And I will recognize them to come to the podium in just a moment to deliver their presentation. But before I do, I would be remiss if I didn't take this opportunity to, number one, recognize all of the men and women who worked with them on 10 committees to do this work. And this work not only consisted of meeting and talking and discussing, but really leading community conversations, putting that information together, along with conducting surveys and focus groups and, you name it. And everyone who worked on this effort took this effort seriously. And they took this effort seriously not because of me, but because of us, because of our city, and because every last one of them was passionate about ensuring that the government, our local government, heard you. So I'd first like to ask any and everyone who served on the 10 committees that are responsible for the mandate that you all are going to hear about tonight. Please stand. And y'all, all these folks have like 5 jobs. I would also like to take this opportunity to recognize, I believe there are 3 so far city council members here. Councilman Mays, Councilwoman Frazier, and Councilman Lockett is here. I don't know if there's anybody else. Oh, where's Councilman Holcomb? Oh, there you go, and Councilman Holcomb. And then, of course, I would like to recognize our team in city government, our leaders and their team members who make this city run every day. So all of our directors and chiefs who are here, and city employees, city personnel, if you all could stand. I want to thank you for the work you do every day. Thank you so much. And with that, I am going to first bring to the stage Latasha Randall, who is certainly a public servant and a volunteer, and you see her everywhere. But she's also a professional in the banking arena, and dedicated herself to this effort. And she will begin with her remarks, and followed by Dr. Calvin Johnson, who early on also agreed to lead this effort. And I want to take this opportunity before I take my seat to thank both of you very, very much for a job well done. If any of you have not yet seen the report, it is amazing. I have not finished reading it yet, but it is some good reading. And I encourage you all to read it in its entirety. And with that, I'm going to take my seat. Okay.
We initially discussed going one by one, being that we've been partnering all of this time. There's no need to stop now. So I want him here with us. So again, thank you guys for coming out. Thank you, Mayor Flowers, for the opportunity. And thank you, Pablo, for all the work that you've done. On behalf of the members of our Transition Advisory Board, we are honored to submit this report, which reflects the dedication, insights, and collaborative spirit of Pine Bluff residents who are deeply invested in our city. Over the past several weeks, we have examined the current state of city government, infrastructure, public service, and community engagement across Pine Bluff. Working alongside the 10 chairs and the members of the 10 resident-led subcommittees, we have conducted research, listened to residents, reviewed city documents and budgets, and engaged stakeholders from every corner of this community. From longtime homeowners to young professionals, from business leaders to faith leaders, and from city staff to neighborhood advocates. This process has enforced the truth we all know to be self-evident. Pine Bluff is full of possibility. I want to say it twice because I believe we are. Pine Bluff is full of possibilities. The work on this board and its subcommittees represent a commitment to seize the possibility with boldness, clarity, and care. Dr. Johnson and I are proud to present recommendations that not only reflect diverse viewpoints and lived experiences, but also shared hope for progress. Don't you agree, Dr. Johnson?
I agree. Thank you. We would like to extend our deepest thanks to the community members who volunteered their time, knowledge, and passion throughout this process. Their thoughtful contributions, willingness to ask tough questions, and commitment to a better Pine Bluff were vital in shaping this report. While this document captures our current priorities and suggested next steps, it is intended to serve as a launching point, not a final word. We understand that the work ahead will require adjustments, creativity, and continued input from residents and partners alike. Still, we believe this report offers a meaningful framework that can guide our administration, the City Council, and the broader Pine Bluff community towards real, measurable progress. Madam Mayor, we thank you for your leadership and vision. We thank you for the opportunity to serve, and most importantly, we stand ready to support you as you advance the progress of our own city. Thank you.
And I guess at this point, we wanted to make ourselves available briefly for any questions about the process or about the document itself for those of you who might have had an opportunity to take a look at it. Okay. Well, I think I'm gonna, yes. Hello.
So how are we going to get the word out first?
Yes. So the first thing that we're going to do is publicize it widely, and not only today to make, because part of this is just to create a set point so that people are aware that the report is completed, that it is public, that it's available. And you all could go on it right now and go to our city website and see it. So that's one thing. I encourage everyone in this room, and maybe we'll take 3 minutes and invite you to text it to friends, family, colleagues, but also share it on social media. We will be sharing it on social media. We will be sharing it on our mass text platform. We will be sharing it with our employees. I think the first thing we have to do is read it, digest it, and be aware. Now, a lot of the recommendations, the data collected, was actually quite confirming. There were some things that we were already setting out to do. And then there were other things that were very creative ideas that may take some time to implement. But I think the first thing we have to do is sort of sift through that. So make it public, have some discussion really among the administration and our team members, our team leaders, as well as the city council, as well as our boards and and commission leaders, because a lot of this is overlapping. It's not just one thing that's going to go to economic and community development. These are things that when you're dealing with public safety, that has to do with police and fire, that has to do with animal control, that has to do with street, that has to do with economic and community development, housing. So, some of these are very straightforward, when you start talking about the budget, right, and budget processes or government transformation. And then others are overlapping. So it's going to take a little time, but some of it won't take much time. Some of it we're already doing. Any other questions? So before we close out, yes.
Will there be opportunity to discuss or have any type of conversation about the actual plan?
Yes. And so let me say this, and yes. Well, I think today there is an opportunity to discuss. I mean, I'm opening it up for Q&A, right? And I said anyone who's read it. But the reality is most people in this room haven't read the whole plan. It's not too long, but it's lengthy because it's comprehensive. I think we give people a chance to digest it, to read it, to access it, to share it, to have conversations at your own kitchen tables, to have conversations around your water coolers, on your campuses, right? And then we did, prior to being sworn in, we did a series of conversations in every ward, right? We had several outreach opportunities during this process, several town hall meetings, surveys, and focus groups. Like there's been a lot of conversation around this, and now I think rather than having, one big conversation about the whole document, I think what's going to happen is there will be opportunity as we prioritize how to implement this. Okay, we might take 2 or 3 things that might be relevant to A&P Commission. And so we might, as an administration, go before A&P Commission and say, hey, these are some things that we could put in place that were in the mayor's mandate based upon what the people said they wanted, right? And so I think, and it's not necessarily to piecemeal, but, you know, I'm all for town hall meetings. They're extremely important and they're extremely effective, I think, to bring about conversation. But now it's time for implementation. And what I don't want to do is set yet another series of meetings to talk about the problem. Like now we have some solutions. So I think what we need to do is work with leaders within the city, outside of the city, to actually put these ideas to work. And it can't happen with just the mayor's office saying, okay, here are 40 things, and we're going to start on them, you know, next week. It's right. It's going to be that some of these things, and that's why it was important to engage our directors. And for you all who served on these committees that were not committees for us in city government, it was committees for you, but you partnered with and connected with city leadership to get that information, they're going to have a copy too. They might say, you know what, we don't need any presentations. Mayor, I have this, you know, fire and police might say, we are already doing this, we're doing this, this is underway, we're going to start this in June, and this other will take 2 years, and we need some money, right? And so it'll be a process like that. So as a part of sharing with the public, we'll also be sharing and discussing internally, for example, at our staff meetings or our cabinet meetings. Yes. Okay. Well, just a second, clerk, if you don't mind. Yes, ma'am.
It was just a simple question.
Oh.
To continue your streak of transparency, can we, can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Just to continue your streak of transparency, can we offer copies of the report so that if they're not able to or don't know how to figure out the website,
Right.
they can come down here just like they receive applications from your office to be on the board?
Great idea. And actually, we put up a new sort of acrylic right outside the mayor's office brochure and magazine stand, and we'll have copies that we'll always have in that caddy or what have you for people to grab a copy. So yes, we will have those, but we're not going to disseminate them. Just whenever we have public meetings, we'll always have a copy. We have them in the mayor's office, and I think every department may elect to make some copies and hand them to people as they come in and out. And to your point, it might be a good idea to make a few copies, you know, for every city council meeting. So yes, 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 and yes.
Good evening. Just to be clear, I think you already answered this question, but your approach is going to be collective. You're not just going to focus on one committee's objectives or issues, suggestions. You're just going to do what makes sense at the moment and tackle that. Will we know of the priorities that the approach will take?
Thank you for that. So it'll definitely be a collective process, and I did mention, but I'll clarify. So it'll sort of be multi-pronged. There is no one sort of pathway because it's too much work, and it's too many people inside of government and outside of government involved to try to pretend like anybody is that adept at herding all those cats, right? So if we start in the mayor's office with sharing with our city council members, with sharing with our directors and chiefs, just starting there, as well as sharing it on our communication platforms, sharing it at city council meetings, having a copy with me everywhere I go, talking about it as I read it. Hey, did you take a look at this? Oh, this is, in my speech making, I might mention, you know, one of the particular committees made you know, recommendations specific to whatever it is I'm speaking about. So it's going to be multi-pronged, comprehensive for sure. And I think I had something else to say, but I can't remember. I hope I come back to it. But I hope that clarifies the direction we're going in. Yeah. Clerk Roberts?
Without many having the opportunity to read the report today and have it present, what are the 3 priority recommendations without going into details of them? And let me also add that LeBaron's question, add to that it is in electronic form, so if they want the booklet in electronic form, they can contact the Pine Bluff City Clerk's office or the mayor's office to establish a copy.
Yes. And just in case anybody didn't know, the constitutional role of the clerk's office is the keeper of public records. And so I thank you for that, Madam Clerk. And we'll kind of go around with thanks again, because there are several people who came since we opened up the meeting at 5:30, and so I want to make sure everyone is recognized. But yes and yes. You asked about priorities. So I'm not placing any priorities on recommendations. It's so many of them are important. As I mentioned, some of them we're already doing, you know what I mean? I think when we go back to the term priorities, I want to take everybody back to, a lot of people know what I'm about to say. The 3 priorities for this administration are what? Youth investment,
Public
safety, and economic development with a focus on infrastructure and tourism. That's it. Those are our priorities, and we are approaching those priorities with the things that we've already set out to do and plan to do as an administration, and now with the recommendations that have come from the people to shore up and define the mandate, I think, that comes from this office, and it's coming from the people. So I'll end it there. Yes.
And I want to first commend the board for the work. I have read this, and I do have some questions, but if I go through all that, we'll probably be here all day. So I just want to know this, though. My concern is that out of almost 40,000 people, the surveys, it said it's 152 people that were surveyed. Is there a way that we can get more people involved in the next survey process, or whatever it is that the board plans to do going forward? Because it's not really representing 152 out of almost 40,000 is just, I don't know how we can engage the community more.
Well, it was far more than 152 people for all 10. I mean, you might have read something that came from one committee, but so the answer to your question is no, but the context is that these surveys and focus groups and outreach efforts came from 10 different committees over a period of a little over or under a month. And anytime you're dealing with a survey, you're really dealing with a representative sample. So no matter how sort of informal or scientific you are with it, just in terms of the sort of scientific method and the standards of doing a focus group, for example. The reason you do a focus group is you pull people from, and I know you know this, from different groups to represent the perspective. And sometimes it's scientific, and you can bank on that, and you can say that it's a scientific-based poll, right? But this was not a vote where we want everyone to vote. This was an effort to bring as many people together in a limited period of time where all 40,000 of those people had an opportunity to participate. Whether you're talking about serving on the committees, that was an open process, participating in the focus group, coming to town hall meeting. That's the reason we did things in such a comprehensive manner. That's the reason we had 10 committees and not 3. So, I'll say this. I think that while some, including yourself, may have a concern about the representation, I think that what we have to do at this point, because the transition committee is a transition committee. So we're transitioning, and they came out with this report. So there is no sort of role for the transition committee to now go back and do more focus group and meeting now that we have the recommendations. I think what we'll find is that as we continue to talk about this and discuss and implement, you're going to have more people who want to be involved, more people. I'm seeing more people coming to the city council meetings who want to have a say in some of the things we're already doing. And so we'll see that engagement, but there will be no sort of involvement in a formal process. The formal process took place with a whole lot of work and a whole lot of announcements.
And you really answered my question. I would look for more numbers on there, and I just sort of wanted to look at the report, but you answered it was more than one.
Way more.
I'm just, that's why.
It's a 113-page report with.
Mayor, can I speak to that? I'm the keeper of pretty much every
document,
data,
email,
and I will say that from the senior advocacy and outreach group, there were over 300 surveys from that group that were seniors. There were hundreds of surveys from young people. So each committee surveyed kind of a different group. So I don't know the aggregate amount of surveys, but I will tell you there was a lot between focus groups and surveys and town hall meetings, and I will say alone from budget and finance, there were over 100 surveys. So each one of them did different surveys from their group. Okay?
Sir.
Thank you. All right, I'm Jeff Pulliam, and I just want everybody to know this document is not a Bible, it's not structured, it's fluid. Business is a science, statistics is a science, so it kind of ebbs and flows with what we need to look at or what direction we need to go. As we take information from this, it may be a partnership or funding that may be an issue, so we can't prioritize that over something else. So it's a moving and living document that we have to be patient with and kind of just massage and work it as the priorities rise to the top, and we can address them right then.
Okay.
Yeah.
One of the things that I mentioned during my presentation, and I probably jumbled up my words, so let me repeat that. We would like to ask, the committee would like to ask that you would accept this report as a launching point, not a final word, meaning that there will be opportunity for creativity, involvement, and expansion for as those committees and their reports were concerned. So it is not the ending, it's the beginning, and I think it's a good place to start. And I would like to encourage you to read the report and discuss it with others, and if you have questions, you have the mayor's number.
Office number.
And also, for those of you who don't know where to go, it's on the city's website under programs and initiatives. So if you go to here, right here, stroll down to the very City of Pine Bluff, and then click on the mayor's mandate, and it brings the entire document up. And you can text it from here as well, too, directly to an individual. So if you have some of those 152 people who you know did your survey who may not be technical, support them and show them. That's also an extension of your hand, too, to show some of them who may be older, who may not have the tech-savvy things that we may have, to show them as well, too. Like Dr. Johnson said, this is the end of the research and time for work. So I think we should all examine ourselves as well, too, to see what we can do in that report. I tell it all the time. You know, you've been to the graduation and they say, please hold all applause until all names are called. Everybody claps anyway. Now is the time for us all to clap together and do the work so that there's not one. You said, show it again? Okay. City of Pine Bluff? I'll put it on your phone. That's what I'll do. I'll text it to you. Yes. And anybody else that needs it, just let me know, and I'll text it directly to your phone so you can have it and look. Thank you.
And let me say, too, I've probably read just about everything, and one of the key things from the senior advocacy was helping seniors become more tech savvy. so they can be more informed and they can gather information. Because when the mayor and I went to their public meeting, they were like, as the mayor said, they were like doing double dutch. They were in, they were out. They were so engaged that they gave great information. The feedback that came from Budget and Finance, the reason that if you attended the mayor's State of the City, that you actually had a graph and information about the amount of money that the city gets. That literally came from the survey that we looked at, where I'm thinking maybe 90% of the people were saying they were not aware of how much money the city got. I can't remember the figure, don't misquote me, but it was a very, very high figure. And so being responsive to the things on the recommendations, what they were doing, that was already being put in place, because the mayor felt like people needed to know how much money we get, like your household, how much money we spend, that we have a credit rating, and we have a debt-to-income ratio. So a lot of that was on there because of feedback that we had gotten. Okay. 96% of the people said what?
Didn't know what the city budget was.
Didn't know what the city budget was. And that was a sampling that took place in this meeting, where there were over 100 people in a public meeting.
Mayor, on behalf of the citizens of Pine Bluff that elected Janice L. Roberts, City Clerk of the City of Pine Bluff, in keeping with Dr. Calvin Johnson's request, we received this document as a working document on behalf of the City of Pine Bluff.
Thank you. Thank you for that.
Now we can clap. Now we can clap.
Any other questions? All right. I trust everyone has pulled this up on your phones yet. If not, that can be some bedtime activity before you drift off to sleep, is bookmark it, text it to a few people, post it. But I want to thank, well, look who's here. Okay. Okay. We had help. We had professional help, and I'll just leave it at that. She likes to stay behind the scenes, so I'm going to leave her behind the scenes for now. But there were a few people who came since we got started, and initially we recognized everyone who served on the 10 committees. There were leads, and then there were several people, sometimes 12, 13, 14 people serving on a committee, and then on some there were 6, but the work still got done. So one more time, if you all could stand up for those of you who worked so diligently on the transition committees. Thank you so much. And what a beautiful cross-section of Pine Bluff. And I guess, my Chief of Staff, Joyce Campbell. And where is Martavius Proctor? Okay. I just wanted to recognize them. They made a lot of this throughout the process happen, including all of us convening this evening. Any closing remarks? Let's go to work. Let's go to work. So I'll just close with that. First, I'm going to say, together Pine Bluff wins. And then I'm going to say, Pine Bluff, let's go to work. Thank you so much. And 32 minutes.
All right. You get a lot of support like that. That's right. Great job. Thank you.
Oh, you guys.
Something that I know I needed to do. I'm thinking a lot of work until I see the report. I think, not mentality.
picture? Could I get you to take out a picture? This here.